Well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. It's kind of last minute, but we interviewed your husband and he was talking so highly about you. I figured it would be awesome to talk to you on the podcast. So he said that you were a Muay Thai champion. I don't know much about that, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about it. So if you could kind of explain kind of what you do, that'd be awesome.
Well, I was first I was Bellator MMA's women's first female champion. And then I was IKKC's Muay Thai champion for them as well, world champion. Both of those were worlds. And then a WBC national champion.
So what are all these different are they classes, are they different categories, like different organizations? How does that work?
Well, MMA is mixed martial arts. So before the UFC came along with women in their divisions, Bellator was the biggest for women. And that's mixed martial arts. That's Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, judo, anything and everything except for poking in the eye and, kicking in the no-no. It goes. So that's mixed martial arts. That was my first world title. And then Muay Thai is essentially the same as kickboxing, but you can elbow and you can sweep, trip, dunk. Okay. Pretty much put people on their ass or their face.
So these are actually different disciplines. They're not just the same thing.
They
repeated.
are.
Okay.
They're different disciplines. So I'm a world champion in two technically different sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is Muay Thai your primary martial art discipline?
Absolutely. I love Muay Thai. I mean, I grew up being an athlete all my life. I played soccer through college, softball, track and field. I ran cross country, but when it came to combat sports, Muay Thai was by far my favorite.
I like the striking part. A lot of people are into the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's always a tongue twister for me. But I've always liked the striking more as well. I did a lot. I shouldn't say I did a lot. I did some Krav Maga. I wasn't into like trying to compete, but I wanted more, I guess, practical application. Okay. But I like the striking part. In Krav, you do a little bit of groundwork too, but it's mostly on your feet. So, but I enjoyed that a lot. How did you get into fighting? That's not something like a common path for a woman.
No, it's not. I competed most of my life, and since I was able to walk, I was competing in all kinds of sports. Like I said, I played soccer most of my life. I played it in college, and it just wasn't challenging enough for me. I was kind of a hothead growing up, so fighting was just in my blood. And during college soccer, I remember seeing a Muay Thai class. I did Taekwondo as a kid. I competed in that. And then when I learned about Muay Thai, that was just something that I really wanted to do. I ended up trying out one class and the rest was history from there. Like I loved the idea of just putting another human in front of you and let's see who's better. And I ended up doing that for a very long time. I still do it today. I just don't compete at a high level. And as far as competition goes, I feel putting yourself up against somebody more or less the same weight, same gender. It's not like anything else I feel for myself anyways in the world when it comes to competition. So I just couldn't get away from it. And I did it for 13 years professionally and I loved it.
Tell us about the first time you got hit in the face.
That didn't feel very good. That was definitely a wake up moment. Like, do I really want to do this? But I think for me, it was more of, okay, well, you just made me look stupid in front of everybody. So the competitor in me was like, you're going to have to pay for that. It doesn't feel good. I don't think for anybody it really feels good. It's just more of a, I'm better.
I feel like getting knocked out will do one of two things. It'll make you either go, I don't like that, I'm not doing this anymore. Or it'll make you go, that really wasn't that bad.
I can handle that.
All right.
You don't really feel anything when you get knocked out. I think it's more of you wake up and you're just like, can I cuss?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. That was really embarrassing. I never want to go through that again. I've never really been knocked out, but I've been put to sleep and that is not a good feeling either. So, but yeah, you'll see it a lot in the gym too, when people are training, men and women alike. You see them get hit and they're just like, there's no way in hell I want to ever do this again. Like it's just not fun for some people to be embarrassed like that or to actually be competitive in that sort of nature.
Is it more of a physical pain or a mental pain, like an ego pain when you get hit?
It's ego. It's mental. It's ego. For some people it hurts. I'm sure the people that were standing in front of me, it hurt a lot, but
I feel like there's
Brady said it did.
Yeah, I mean, I was blessed. I mean, I've been an athlete all my life, but I feel as a female, which is one of the reasons why I loved striking, was because I was a little more explosive than most. I hit a little harder than my opponent, which is one of the reasons why I was able to get to where I was. I just loved it. I could generate a lot of power for being a tiny female. Not anymore, but it's just. I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
What weight class did you compete in?
Oh, man. I won the world title for Bellator at 115. I won a world title for Muay Thai at 125. I've also competed at 135 and 145. So my walking around weight in college was about 145. So to get down to 115, it was a struggle.
That's a lot.
I was cutting a lot of weight for a female.
I think that's a huge part of the sport of your weight. Yeah, that people don't get that. So, you see somebody at, in any weight class, like, okay, 115, but that's not your natural weight. You have to get way down. You have to deplete yourself. And to actually then have the strength to compete at that is like, that's the tough, one of the toughest
that
parts.
Alone, that alone, I would say was the fight for me. Like when it came to dropping down in weight, eating less, trying to perform at the highest level, and not really feeding your body what it needed to compete and train every day. And then at the end, you're cutting weight within the last 24. You're cutting water within the last 24 hours. So you're just completely depleting yourself. So mentally, that plays a game on you too. So it's never been fun. Like my fights were the weight cuts by far. The fighting was fun. Like I loved every bit of fighting another human. But as far as the weight cuts go, I don't miss it. I don't miss it one bit. I eat well now.
Yeah.
So
I don't cut weight because I like to eat too much.
Yeah, I mean, doing what I do now, like I can eat good and I love eating good. I'm probably walking around 40 pounds heavier than I should, but man, it just feels so good not to have to cut weight or look at a scale every day. Like you're in camp for the 13 years. I was on a scale. Every morning, where am I at? Where am I at? Where do I need to be? If I get a call for a fight, which is in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 12 weeks, and we have to work with doctors, nutritionists, and it's just a number every day. You're looking at that scale, and to not have to, I'm just like sweating thinking about it. No, thank you. I'm good.
So what is it like? You're in the ring, the bell rings, you're facing another opponent. Like, it's got to be this surreal moment, almost like an out-of-body experience with all the crowd and everything. Kind of walk us through what that feels like. I mean, do you even hear the crowd? Are you so focused? I mean, what's going on in your head?
No, you don't. As loud as arenas get, it is amazing how much you don't hear. Even to the point where if you haven't worked with a certain coach for a long time, you don't hear their voice either. Mm-hmm. It's just it's more of a feeling. Like you'll walk out and you see, and the lights are brighter than you've ever thought. Like it's almost to a point where it's like blinding. How the hell am I going to perform under these lights? But for me, I think there's a couple of things. I used to watch Tyson a lot, so I would look at his videos and the way he explained the way walking out to the ring, you're like, you're scared as shit. Mm. Like, I don't care who you are, what you like, you're going to be nervous because anybody can make a mistake in there, you know, and you do as much as you possibly can to be ready, but you can always make a mistake. So going out there, you're nervous as hell, you're confident as hell, and you're just like, okay, you're either ready or you're not. And for me, every single time that I went out there, even for the first time, as soon as you step out and those lights go, you just get this, like, your adrenaline starts to go. Like, it's so hard to explain. Your blood is going. You're trying to control your breathing. You're just like, oh shit, I'm actually doing this.
Have you ever been in a position where that adrenaline's going so much that you came out into a fight and you were over, because I imagine you want to calm that down a little bit. If you come out just wild, you might, I would imagine your form might go or whatever. You got to calm yourself.
You'll get an adrenaline dump. It's happened to me a few times in fights. Like you're so riled up and you get out there, your adrenaline's going so high and you're breathing so hard that you just, after the first round or after like a minute or two, you're just like, oh shit. It just goes away and you can feel every strike. You can see everything. You're just like, oh shit. Okay, now I need to bring my training into this, because that adrenaline that usually helped me in a fight, is completely gone. What they call that adrenaline dump. So yeah, trying to fight through that too is another animal. So yeah.
What's been one of the most challenging moments in the ring for you?
I had another world title fight at 115 pounds that I cut 17 pounds of water prior. I think it had been like 5 years before I had got down to 115 pounds. So getting down to that weight, I had a torn labrum before I went into that fight, and my body was just broken and brittle. So I'd cut so much weight. My body was completely depleted. As soon as I got into that fight, I had my orbital broken, my nose broken, my right hand. I had a torn labrum. Like my body was so brittle that any little thing that I would put behind a punch, anytime I would get a strike back, my body was just breaking. And I could feel it because it was like glass every time I would try to throw my right hand. My shoulder, I couldn't stand in my regular stance because I could tell that there was something wrong. I wouldn't react the way that I usually do. So trying to fight through that for a championship fight all that happened within the first 5 minutes. So trying to go another 20 minutes, knowing that there's something wrong with your body, but your adrenaline is still going. So it's like, I can still go, but now I'm just on survival. That was probably the hardest thing to try to overcome in a fight. I ended up losing that fight, but, I got a lot of praise for it because people could tell that there was something wrong. And sure enough, when I went to the hospital after that, they were like, yeah, your hand's broken, your labrum's torn, your face is broken, your orbital, your nose, you got a hairline fracture in your shin. And it's like, maybe I shouldn't be cutting that much weight, obviously, because of the damage that you can put on your body.
Do you have, your coaches give you advice on these types of things?
Oh, yeah.
Was this one of the things where you look back and go, you know what, that was the wrong decision to make at the moment?
Yeah, but I mean, as an athlete at that level, I think you're always going to you have to believe in yourself to a point where, I mean, if I'm not dead, I'm still going to continue to go. But you have to have coaches, managers, and people in your life and in your corner, your team to either slow that down or pull you out, throw in a towel, whatever they have to do to kind of protect yourself from you. So. Yeah, so it's very important to have that circle, that tribe of people that are there to protect you as well.
That's intense. I mean, that's intense.
Well, it's. I mean, I loved it. It was, and that was the reason, was because it was so intense, because there was so much you have to put behind it. All the training, all the hours, all the ups, all the downs. Like, it was an amazing experience.
It's like a drug, I'm sure.
Oh, it is 100%. Like,
right.
A lot of people, and there were a lot of like drug addicts that would get into that type of sport, and they were like, it's the same high.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Thanks for telling just a few minutes of your story, but